How's it going? Hey. Yeah. Let me tell you, Chad.
How does that happen to me? That makes no fucking sense, bro. How does that go to this monitor on this screen? All I did was full screen. The audio is so ass for this. This is about to piss me off.
With a card, so they heightened security. No cap. Every block had 4 cop cars.
Like, and you can't even see. And the camera's just so ass for that phone. It's like, nigga. It's like, what am I really recording on?
Each day I was seeing thousands and thousands of cops. I genuinely feel like.
I sold, bro. I sold. What the fuck that was? You need to just watch it like this, bro, regular. Trying different shit, nigga. Oh, I'm not, bro. Why are y'all's videos so? Let me see this.
Okay. I'm pretty sure many of you all were waiting for this video because as a Laker fan, you can see all the paraphernalia behind me. As a Laker fan, I have a lot to say about this Luka Doncic trade. I have not really sat down and voiced my opinion about it. What exactly do I feel about Luka being on the roster? What exactly is next for the Lakers? Because already the Mark Williams trade kind of fell through. And where exactly should be the expectations for the Lakers moving forward, not just for this season, but beyond this year as well, because there is certainly a lot of things to talk about. So just a quick briefer. I'm pretty sure everybody knows this because it was a trade that was heard quite literally around the world. I saw people who were uploading videos about the Luka trade that were not in the NBA community. It was actually kind of crazy. So shout out to that. But of course, Luka gets traded to the Lakers. AD, Max Christie, and the 2029 first round pick is traded to the Dallas Mavericks. And everyone loses their mind because they now have to readjust their thought process about the Lakers and the Mavericks and where exactly both teams are going to go. And in particular, for the Lakers, what exactly does this mean? Now, as a fan, I have to say, originally I was happy, I was grateful, like, oh my God, they did it, but I am kind of split and torn. The only reason why, and I don't want to seem like I'm an ungrateful fan, but the reason why, and this is why it's also just so hard to be a fan in today's game, in this era, you get emotionally invested into these teams, into these players, who they are, and everything gets flipped upside its head just one day's time when a team decides to trade their 25-year-old superstar, right? So everything just changes. And this year for the Lakers, there was a lot of emotional investment into this team. The roster was structured in a way in which, as a fan, you had to believe that a lot of the answers that we were looking for last year were already on the roster and that JJ Redick was going to get the most out of these players. And as much credit that is not being given to the Lakers so far leading up into the All-Star break, the truth of the matter is I would very well argue that the Lakers are exceeding expectations, especially as of late. They really turned the season around. Post that debacle at the beginning of December where the Lakers lost by 40 points to the Miami Heat. Since that point in time, in the last 28, 29 games, the Lakers are 20-8 or 20-9.
I'm talking about this shit in Minecraft. Like, I haven't like cut down the lumber shit. I haven't did that shit. I haven't like played Minecraft in a minute.
Top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense, top 10 net rating as well. I'm doing a lot of this off the dome, so please forgive me, but effectively, they look significantly better than where they were in the middle part of the season, and not getting enough credit for it. JJ Redick has been, I haven't said, a significantly better coach than Darvin Ham. All the questions about, oh, well, is he going to improve certain players, and how is he going to coach? And early on in the season, people were keeping count of the record between those two coaches, and now they're all of a sudden not doing it anymore. Let me be known, and let me be clear, JJ Redick is a better head coach than Darvin Ham. The offense runs smoothly. Players actually know what they need to do offensively. It's much more guided, much more concise, and also aids the strengths of a lot of players that's on the roster as well. So all of that works. Defensively, it's starting to turn the corner as well. Part of the reason why the Lakers have looked better on that side of the floor over the past 15 to 20 games, some of which has to do with the schedule being slightly weak with the offensive talent that they're going up against, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're experimenting way more with different defensive sets. They were operating in zones way more often, scram switching, making sure someone was backline, and effectively just not switching as often as they were in the beginning part of the season. This really aided this team in games in which Anthony Davis wasn't there, and just all around, the Lakers looked really, really, really great. And it genuinely felt as if like the Lakers were just one piece away from going to title contention conversations, in my opinion, especially if they were able to pull off the Miles Turner trade, even if it meant that they gave up like Rui and a couple of draft picks in the process, which I do believe was going to have to happen if they were going to go down that path. Also, speaking of Rui, the idea that you could have gotten more out of Rui turned out to be true. I remember early on in the season or in the preseason, a lot of discussion of like, well, where's the extra production going to come from? And there was a lot of focus centered around Rui, Austin Reeves, Max Christie, and Anthony Davis, all of which have panned out. All of which. Shout out to Rob Pelinka for not rushing into a trade, trying to make moves while the stock of those players.
No, that other nigga laughing about it, talking about something. I know what Jay wants. I know what Jason Kidd wants and shit. Like, that shit is dick ride, bro. You don't know what another man. You don't know what he wants, bro. I'm gonna just be real. I don't care how long you work with him. I don't care, my nigga. People change by the day, bro. This nigga sitting here. This nigga just ruined the whole franchise.
Probably as low as they were ever going to be last season, and making sure he brought in a head coach and prioritized those players. Regardless of what you want to say, hey, if you want to believe that LeBron or AD brought in JJ, that's fine. But the fact that Rob Pelinka prioritized those players when JJ stepped foot into this organization speaks volumes into how Rob really viewed all of them. Rui's playing the best basketball, in my opinion, in his career. Max Christie, before he got traded, was playing the best basketball. It's very frustrating knowing as a Laker fan that he was sitting on the bench last year because a lot of the 3D presence that we needed on this team from a wing perspective, and in particular having some upside as a POA as well, the fact that all of that was already on the team last year and Darvin Ham was burying him in the bench, very frustrating. Austin Reeves is really showing clear improvements as a ball handler, decision maker, shot creator, having moments where he can even handle the offense while LeBron and AD are not on the floor, did so against the Indiana Pacers about 2 or 3 games ago. All looks really, really great. And AD being prioritized as well. A lot of questions on AD fading in and out of offense, all that other nonsense, some of which I do believe is true, but a lot of it had to do with the fact that AD just was not being prioritized in the offense. And here we are now, JJ was able to get the most out of him. It was really, really great to watch. And honestly, I think the biggest takeaway from the season was that LeBron, probably for the first time in his career, was able to step off the floor and the team was still winning. LeBron was being less ball dominant. Team was still winning. LeBron across the board numbers were down. Team was still winning. So LeBron didn't have to be as much of a part of this offense for them to still execute at a very high level.
LeBron works at a meta level,
get emotionally invested into it. Then you make the trade. Luka comes in.
It's no longer about.
I was grateful, but then I became split. But the reason why I was grateful is because the big elephant in the room was, what was this team going to look like beyond the next 2 or 3 years? Because it felt as if like this is really just a 2 to 3 year window, with LeBron probably just going to work on a year-to-year basis until he retires, and AD being 31, looking at 32, he's also only going to have like 2 or 3 years left. And so, as much as I would love to see it pan out, you trade for Luka, bring in someone who's
they won with that shit
in the room, and that
there's really
is,
no
who is
question.
going to be
I
the
would have
face of
traded
the
for that
franchise beyond this era
crazy.
of basketball that's really hard to find. And so now you have to shift into that direction. And in doing so, the Lakers immediately went for a big and Mark Williams, traded, I believe, too much draft capital as well as Dalton Connect. And unfortunately, that fell through because Mark Williams failed his physical. There was already concerns about his health, but the fact that he failed it really speaks volumes. The Charlotte Hornets, as of right now, they claim that they love to have him back. They were so ecstatic that Mark Williams is back, but then they're also going to the to the NBA to try to figure out if they can still get rid of Mark Williams on the side as well, which really speaks volumes to where Mark Williams is as a player and his health, his ability to just play in many games as possible. So unfortunately, that fell out the way. And the reason why they even decided to go in that direction is because people were reporting that Luka sat down with Rob and Rob asked him, hey, what do you need to make yourself feel comfortable here? And he said a lob threat, and Rob immediately swung for a lob threat. So that does leave me with a level of optimism about how the Lakers are going to look long term, because of course right now prioritizing Luka Doncic staying long term is what the Lakers have to do. They have no other choice. They have to do that. And so over leveraging yourself for a big makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, that went down, and now the Lakers are stuck with Alex Len. Now, what does this mean for this season? Because I've seen a lot of chatter back and forth now with the roster set in place. What does this mean for the Lakers this year? Well, I'm sorry to Laker Nation. I'm here to tell you, no, the Lakers are not a title contending team. They're not. They are still the censor away from being a title contending team. I sit here and I listen to people believe that we can somehow beat the Denver Nuggets when we weren't able to do so with an actual big. Now we have Jackson Hayes and Alex Len, and now all of a sudden y'all think that's an answer. But even beyond Denver, bro, sitting here and I'm watching Shannon Sharp blubber his mouth talking about, oh man, we won OKC. No, you don't. Please stop. No, you don't. I ain't never in my life seen somebody beg for the belt to ask. I've never seen it. No, you do not. You do not want OKC. especially with both of them up there, Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein. No, you don't. No, you do not. No, you
Niggas
don't.
chatting.
Please stop. OKC
See, that's
still
what I said,
has
bro.
fewer than 10 games in a loss column, and
How
they're
the fuck
not
do
just
these
beating
niggas keep up
teams,
with
they're
basketball
beating
every
the
day?
break side of teams. They're beating them by like 20, 30, 40 points. Please
Right.
stop. They have a historic net rating. Historic. I actually think they have the greatest, the highest net rating of all time. Effectively meaning the difference between their offensive rating and their defensive rating, or also another way of putting it, how bad they beat teams. They beat the dog shit out of teams. No, I'm okay with that. However, I do believe that the Lakers are a sneaky good team, very interesting offensively. The sky's the limit in my opinion. I'm way more optimistic about what this team is going to look like, because a lot of people sitting there saying, oh man, Luka and LeBron, two ball dominant players.
No.
I don't think LeBron gets anywhere near close enough credit for what he's doing this year, coming off the ball, allowing AD and AR to operate the offense. He's not getting nowhere near enough credit. He's going to, in my opinion, probably do it even more now that Luka's there. And I do believe with him being off the ball in terms of long term now, will keep him playing basketball probably a year or two longer than originally expected, because he doesn't have to dominate the ball anymore. He can be more of the forward type of player that a lot of people kind of been wanting him to be for a huge portion of his career. But in terms of this season, not a title contender. I do believe the offense is going to be really, really great. Give Luka a little bit more time to kind of develop into this offense. Also, I think JJ Redick, who I've already seen run sets for him, where Luka is moving off ball, but still has the threat of throwing a lob to someone like Jackson Hayes. I actually think the offense is going to be fine. It's going to be great, but it's not going to be enough defensively to keep us in conversations with Denver, in my opinion, and it certainly is not going to be enough to keep us in conversations with OKC. Just not. If we upset Denver, that would be amazing. But OKC, every single time I watch them, I just don't see it happening. Now, what does this mean long term? Well, a couple things that us Laker fans have to look forward to, or at least need to be keeping our eye on. Again, getting a big, getting a center, getting someone who's going to be defensive oriented, rim runner, and still be a little bit more offensive leaning.
He needs a rim runner
as well.
is crazy.
That player, in my mind, is still Miles Turner, expiring contract on a team out in Indiana that has turned their season around a little bit. But I think it's probably easier to sell him this pitch of, hey, a lot of what you did out there in Indiana, you can do out here in LA on a better team with a better ball handler and passer and playmaker. And Luka, come out here, play on this roster, and figure out what you can do for us, because Indiana's not going anywhere. So keep your eye on Indiana for the remainder of the season. And in the postseason, if you are a Laker fan, you should be rooting for the Pacers to get knocked out in the first round and doing so in embarrassing fashion, because that'll probably be even more incentive for Miles Turner to leave. If not Miles Turner, then of course Nick Claxton should also be available. I do love for the Brooklyn Nets that they held on to their players, patient, waited until the offseason, because there's more than likely going to be more pieces being traded, in particular draft capital. So that makes a lot of sense. But Nick Claxton on his roster, defensive oriented player, nice rim runner to the basket, not the same size as a Miles Turner, and that kind of does concern me, but I do believe that he would obviously be a great addition to this team. Another reason why I think Miles Turner would be great is because of his size, but also because his three-point shooting not only gives you the pick and roll and pick and pop option, but also because he's a three-point shooter, there is definitely lineups in which we can run Vando alongside him, so that's a bit more viable of an option. So you can have crazy defensive lineups with DFS, Vando, and Miles Turner. That's something that you certainly want to do. Also, and I'm just going to say it, look for Rui to more than likely be traded. Rui is someone to kind of keep an eye on. He's been playing really great over the past like 5 to 7 games. Hopefully he continues to carry it on. His stock slightly improves. He's not making a significant amount of money. I honestly believe a lot of teams in the NBA would probably love to have him coming off their bench being a scoring punch. He's carved out a bit of a different game for the Lakers over the past year and a half. 3-point shooting, spot up shooter in the corner. But let's not forget, post player, ISO scorer, coming off the bench, can really look really great against other teams' reserves. I do believe you pair a draft pick or two with him, you can probably get the players that you're looking for. And the other piece that the Lakers have to be looking for is someone to effectively replace Max Christie, which is crazy. It's crazy for me to say that. But yeah, Max Christie needs to be replaced. Even though DFS is a really good defender, so is Vando. And if we get someone like a Nick Claxton or a Miles Turner, that would also provide some defensive identity as well. But the truth of the matter is, Lakers need a POA. And that's been a problem with the Lakers since we lost Caruso and KCP back in the day. Have not been able to address that whatsoever. Having a backcourt with Luka, Reeves, or just having 3 players like Luka, Reeves, and LeBron on the floor at the same time, offensively, sounds amazing. Looks great, but defensively is where there's going to be significant problems. And even though DFS is a really good defender, his best attribute isn't on ball defending smaller guards. So that is something that the Lakers are going to have to address. During the offseason, I've already looked at the free agents. There's not that many options out there for them to outright sign, but But this is where, again, some of the trades are going to come into play. And I think that's, if anything, that's the player that they should trade Rui for with some draft capital as well, and just try to sign Miles Turner in the offseason. And also in terms of the financial conversation, both DFS and LeBron will be coming off the books more than likely this year. They both have player options. I'm assuming they're going to opt out to restructure their contracts for a much longer deal, especially DFS. And LeBron's probably going to restructure his deal to not only give the Lakers some, some flexibility, but also kind of cement himself for the type of contract that he's looking for while still giving the Lakers the room to improve. So I think that's what's more than likely going to happen. And that's something that the Lakers, in my opinion, should be looking forward to. But this season, the rest of the season to me is just a wash. It's just a wash. The rest of the season, honestly and genuinely, should be, what are ways for us to find out what this team is going to look like offensively with Reeves, Luka, and LeBron. That, in my opinion, is what we're going to gather for the rest of the season. Everyone else on this roster, it's just not enough. It genuinely is not enough to convince me or really anyone else that they're going to be able to compete at a really high level with teams that have defensive identities, switchable players, bigs that can really disrupt the flow of things. And even watching them against the Jazz these last two games, the inability of having a lob threat now that Jackson Hayes just got hurt in the last game really does transform how teams are going to be able to defend the Lakers, because Luka doesn't look 100%. Reeves already doesn't get downhill that often. And so LeBron was trying to, really shift the defense as much as he could, but just couldn't do so when you're running double big lineups with Larry Marketing and Walker Kessler. So I do fear that throughout the remainder of the season. But again, I just feel like this season is a wash. The Lakers are still going to make the playoffs. They're probably going to 50 games. But are they going to be able to compete at a high level? In my opinion, no. I think that too many people are very optimistic about the idea of like, oh, well, it's Luka and LeBron, so let's not count them out. And I get that theory. I get that.
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure if the Lakers somehow find themselves in the finals, y'all are going to clip this up. But I personally, I just don't believe that the Lakers are in a position right now with the lack of a center, true center. Not Jackson Hayes, not Alex Len, because there's a reason why he was unemployed. Not those two players, but a true five. Until that comes to the roster, it's hard for me to commit to this team at another level. But really fun playoff team. I think that's where the Lakers are going to be. And even if they end up landing with a first or second round exit, in my opinion, the roster, the team, JJ Redick, everybody, Rob Pelinka, they've exceeded expectations with where a lot of people had them originally before the season began. And also, finally, I will say this. Luka, I'm going to say this to you. You better get that shit together, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. I hear all this. I'm happy that you're here. It's good that you're here, face of the franchise, right? But don't be a fat ass. Don't be a fat ass. Don't be out of shape. Take this shit very serious, because there's a lot of shit that you did in Dallas that you got away with because you were their guy. Like, right, they fell in love with you. They was okay. All the antics, saw a couple of things against the Utah Jazz tonight. Didn't really like it that much, right? Didn't really bode well for me, right? So, I get it. You're still hurt. Kind of coming back. Take a break with the All-Star week, right? I like that. But, let's wrap this up. Let's go ahead and get back in shape. Let's get back in shape. Let's get to where you need to be, because, that if you think the way that Nico Harrison and them are slandering you right now in the media, I don't know if you heard of Laker fans. Hey, I don't know if you heard of Laker fans, my boy. I don't know if you heard about them. Bale, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section below. This will probably be my...
I'll fuck with Low, bro. Oh, man. But that's ironic, bro. It's ironic. Nigga talking about stop being a fat ass, just get in shape. Shit's ironic, bro. Trust. Oh, why am I sure? Oh, it's because I'm... Oh, okay.
Past year, it seems like Uzi's fans have had enough of him cosplaying, inhaling night, dropping mid music, and
not watching that shit. Niggas, I'm not watching that shit. Fuck.
Coming to get my son tonight.
Oh, yeah, I need this type of video.
You're not coming that way. No. See, you got my baby all upset. You said you was coming back. You said you was going to the store and you never came back.
Well, hold on. Too much is happening at once.
Coming to get my son tonight.
You're not coming that way. No. See, you got my baby all upset. You said you was coming back. You said you was going to the store and you never came back.
3 days later.
And
wait,
so,
am I missing something?
it's just really fucked up because I actually really loved this space that I was in, and they didn't even give me a warning or nothing.
Jordan, they shouldn't give you a warning. With streaming becoming ever so popular,
Sure.
Body is
And like, bro, I'm scared too, cause bro, I be feeling like I'm loud. Well, I be loud, but like not really though. It's like I feel like it's a skill issue. Like I've learned over time to how to like level my voice. Also like recording music. I feel like it's kind of nerving me too. But still though, like nigga, I don't. That's why I'm worried, like too, cause like nigga, that's a problem for me too. Like I feel like if I'm too loud, then
wanting to get
niggas,
their
you feel me?
hands in the dirt and really dig deep and attempt to do some sort of streaming content. Now, no, that doesn't mean that they want to do some of the old world things like the Destinies or the Moist Criticals of the world used to do. They don't want to be the Ludwigs. They don't want to be the Mystics. They don't want to sit down at a desk, play a video game, and react to videos all the time. They want to be innovative. They want to be creative. And I commend them for that. But Jordan Lucas is an example for a lot of the creators out there.
Me too. See, I'm trying to take my time to try to build on something first and then try to get creative, because it's like I don't want to not doing
when you
anything.
do
I'm not that
streaming
type of
and you transition to that IRL prank.
Like I feel like when I was younger I was more prone to be able to do this, I guess, but even then I wanted to do this a certain way, bro. Like no.
Fun streaming world, you have to be very, very careful.
How
this is internet personality Jordan Lucas. She hails from the Deshae Frost camp. As far as I understand, that's his ex-girlfriend. And she has a pretty sizable following across all social media platforms. So naturally, seeing how everybody else at their mama is having fun streaming, she decided to stick her toe into the game. Now, she had been seeing a lot of success in the streaming game. On her first stream, she had hit her sub goals. She had a lot of guests and friends from her life like Cleo and Deshae pop up and pop out. She been making music, you know, doing the normal streamer things. Now, with the normal streamer things, that does mean you have to up yourself, and that's where the farm got introduced into the situation. Now, as you can look and see in the background, she is at an apartment, and it's clear as day. And when she bought those farm animals in there, I've been in a few apartments. I don't know how many farms you can have in an apartment, but she saw the ramifications and the backlash of having a farm, a literal farm, like goats, chickens, hay, a pen, all those things in her apartment. She saw her world come crashing down after that.
So it's like I just moved and it's so stressful having to deal with like me trying to learn a new craft and also trying to set.
Wait, learn a new craft? That's what we're saying? Streaming is a skill issue, yes. Okay, bro. I think we lost the plot.
And then also, I want to be like on time. I personally think usually, you know, I'm not late or anything like that. It's like I just want to give you guys the best content that I can, you know, so that we can like build as a community.
What community? Is like, I feel like niggas want a community, but I feel like it's only now. I don't know. Niggas don't see me. I'm saying that because like AFM, for example, you'll see if you click on my shit, AFM. That's some shit I recently is in the making. It's low key been there, like for me to like do it, but it hasn't been on my mind. Just like she's like, I feel like niggas don't be doing this shit in the community. Like don't be thinking about the community for real. Like I feel like niggas start streaming on some selfish shit for real first, which shit, you know. But my community since came from in the sense of pushing the narrative, like being an example to y'all. That's where my shit coming from. So even if I didn't think of how I was going to have a community like AFM and shit, that way I was always, bro, like the internet is a public, like it's like public knowledge almost to me. So like I always looked at it as a betterment or whatever. So I wanted to push that narrative within what I'm doing. You feel what I'm saying? Other niggas just want to just like what community, bro? And I'm shawty, I'm speaking ignorance, so I'm gonna acknowledge that. But what community?
Together. I'm just like, I don't know if there's anything that I can do to combat it. Like, I'm pretty sure there has to be, like, 7 days is crazy. Like, it's Valentine's Day. Like, we have to, like, where's the love?
She got evicted with a 7-day notice. Full stop. She has to be out of her place in 7 days. Now, I know a lot of people aren't gonna like this. Maybe some people are, because as I read the comment section, they seem to be on my side, but the apartment has every right to break her lease and kick her out in that time frame. Now, I know it's fucked up and I know it's a quick turnaround, but ultimately, I'm almost 1,000%.
A farm though? Like, damn, like, no, okay, it's like that. I can't even argue that. I can't even see how that's like, you know,
reading any contractual agreements that there was nothing that said that she could have brought in those types of animals.
That's where, yeah, okay.
Know for a fact this isn't something that she went ahead and cleared with her leasing office or the management company. Even if they said no, she would have at least been able to keep them in the loop so she doesn't get blindsided like this when things do happen. Or hell, even before she signed the lease off, she could have made it very clear and very known that, hey, I am a streamer. I am going to be doing different things in my apartment.
You know what? I appreciate this video. Oh my God. Oh my God, I appreciate this video. Shit. That just like for me, like that's like, this is why, like, you feel me?
I am going to utilize my place in space as a content creation space. The thing about,
like, it just depends on how, like, consuming, like, of course you're not gonna remember shit. Of course you're not gonna learn shit. It's gonna just be the fourth. What was the fourth video? What was the fourth video you just scrolled from? You don't know, because why? It's like it's tailored to that short, like, unless you make it, no, unless you try to like habitually keep these things a part of you, like, you feel me? So
getting into an apartment is that it's very communal. The hallways are shared, the elevators are shared, the common rooms are shared, the walls are usually thin, the floor is usually somebody's ceiling, and I think a lot of people forget that. So no, that doesn't mean that you can do anything and everything just because it is your place in your space, and it definitely doesn't mean that you could, I don't know, bring Wilbur and whatever type of lambs and chickens and hogs and dogs and frogs and logs up into the place. It looks like she has an apartment on the top, but I'm already sure that you are stress testing these people with the noises that you're making, let alone bringing in any sort of foreign objects and different things like that.
Jordan gets evicted for having a farm in her high-rise apartment. Nah, girl, you knew dang well. Them folks, apartment folks, renter folks, whatever you want to call it, you know them folks don't play that stuff. They already be tripping about dogs and cats, and you gonna bring a farm up in that hole? So you mean to tell me you just bought Wilbur and friends in your apartment and was like, yeah, this finna be fire right here. Then paying the rent 3 months in advance, knowing you was finna do some crazy stuff. Like, y'all need to stop doing all this crazy stuff for social media.
Like, oh my, like, it's like, I don't know.
A whole farm, I can't believe.
It's like my crazy is still some shit that's like, or my attempt to be unique is still on some shit that's like, I wouldn't say realistic, or because, like, I mean, you gotta be delusional with this shit, but niggas take that shit too far. So it's like to the point where you gotta just find your own balance. So it's like, yeah, it's like you gotta have a balance with it, bro. It's like, nigga, come on.
Like, not a cat, not a dog, but a whole farm. Come on, my god. You knew better.
Sometimes streamers get a little bit entitled. They feel as if they spend money or they have some celebrity or some sort of fame or...
Oh, so they could just do shit. Because I feel that shit walking around, like knowing that I'm doing this shit or trying to do this. But it's not, honestly, it's not even, I've learned to the point where, like, now it's a sense of like, you know how people say, oh my gosh, why does this happen to just me? I may complain about saying shit like that. Or like when little shit happens, I'll probably express it, but I understand that it's like niggas want this type of life, but like don't understand you feel me, the repercussions. And it's like, nigga, what are you complaining for? This is shit you asked for. Of course, the simple shit is going to be annoying to you if you're always looking ahead of, you feel me? And that was just where I'm coming from with like the small shit being annoying. But yeah.
Clout, that means that whatever they do is justified because they paid for it, they bought it, and this is the way to grow. But honestly, that's not the case all the time. People have different rules and different boundaries that should be respected. Not to be some sort of fed, but I don't even know.
Like, I'm so glad he mentioned like talk to your landlord, like, and shit, because like I feel like in the near future, like that's some shit.
She came to an agreement with her neighbors or her building that she was going to be showing it off in this sort of way, shape, form, or fashion. There are places that even have harsh restrictions on filming, period, because people, creepos, can look out that background in that window, see exactly which apartment complex that is based off of mapping and the geographics in the background, and start to be vagrants and loiterers at the apartment complex in an attempt to see Jordan Lucas and any other celebrity, which ultimately disrupts the day-to-day life and and actions of all the other people that are living in this apartment complex.
New York is an unlivable place for a content creator. Because once you get to a certain size, it's brutal, bro. Niggas was camping outside the house in cars, trying to take flicks. Like, no cap, every time we came home, it was like a photo shoot. And we tried to keep it low key. The penthouse was even worse, chat. By the third day, it was gatherings of people giving us merch, trying to ask us to take photos, giving us their IG. Once niggas know where you live and it's not that hard to find it, they will stand outside your spot, bro.
I think right now streaming has a very, very...
See, you know why? You know what? That's why I just had an epiphany. That's why low-key I want to like stream on some shit where it's like there's no set location for me. Like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Nomadic life. Like, a nigga told me I was nomadic on some shit. That's funny. That's why it's like I want to build a community where none of this shit matters no more. Oh my gosh, I wanted that to be an edit soon. Like in the near future, looking back, I want somebody to make an edit out of this. And hopefully if I build a community that's like on some actual awareness, like I don't want none of this gathering bullshit. Like, and it's hard to say that because, like, you know, some people just want to see you. Of course, niggas just want to see Kai and shit. And Agent, nigga, I want to see you, Agent. Like, I want to chop it up with you, niggas. Probably, you feel me? But we're all, you feel me? We're all human. Like,
Bad,
we're all
now, of course, you have your outliers. I think people.
So it's like you gotta, you feel me? You gotta just be appropriate, be respectful when it comes to this shit. Literally.
I think that Kai Cenat is probably a net positive in the world. I think they might think of some of the FaZe clan as like a net positive in this world, but ultimately they think that that's a positive from the computer aspect. They don't necessarily want to live around it or be around it or have it disrupt their day-to-day lives. And then when I think about all,
like, be like, instead of, obviously, I'm not gonna lie, it's easier said than done. But instead of going about it trying to get flicks that way, forcing flicks that way, I'm not gonna lie. If it's got, see, that's so weird. See, that's so weird, bro. That's so weird, bro. Being in the area, like, it's like, okay, it's one thing being in the area, but then once you see like other people being in the area and it's like you spam, like, no, nigga. If I can't get my, like, if I can't, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just not gonna do that shit. It's just so, like, it's such a hard thing. And it's like, some people don't have anything else but this. And it's hard to be like, oh yeah, just don't pull up on Asia or don't pull up on these niggas. But it's your favorite streamer, Speed.
All the IRL streamers that take things just a little bit too far and they disrupt people's natural lives. I could totally understand why people wouldn't want Twitch streamers, Kick streamers, or any sort of IRL or content streamers being around their places and spaces. Not only can it be potentially destructive in some situations, but it can also just be a nuisance. Like, I have my own place. I've paid a lot of money for my own place. I don't want these kids running up and down this hall and doing their own thing. And there are some realities for
that's why I gotta be like, low-key, I wish it was, I feel like there's a way to go about this. No, there's a way to go about this. I just
because some of their peers are
doing, that's what I'm saying. Like, my mind, everybody's mind. Fuck, that's so selfish. That's why it's like, you gotta open up. There's a lot of people that probably think a certain way, but they can't because of certain focus, certain things they have to attend to. You know what I'm saying? However, what I was saying was just that. Because I'm trying to build this foundation and build up, it feels like I can't help with like actual solutions or actual shit. Like, obviously, I'm not knowledgeable enough to help with like global, like, you feel me? Like, unless I am, or unless I did have that potential and I wasted it, you know what I'm saying? You have to think like, in order to have abundance, you have to think in abundance. So, you can't have what you don't.
These destructive and disruptive things. They are causing property damage. They are wrecking and destroying other people's property. A lot of these streamers rent out Airbnbs or go to other people's establishments, and these content creators don't necessarily respect these places and spaces. And because there is such bad publicity, a lot of these good streamers are gonna have to face the ramifications and repercussions of what the people of their past did. Even if it means people are jumping to conclusions and kicking you out of a place and space that you're not doing anything bad in.
It's tough out here, chap. We've been getting iced out.
Like, I feel like all the landlords in New York City probably got together in a big meeting of some sort, a cahoots, some would say, and they've made it very difficult for us to find a spot. Realistically, it's not that hard to research us blowing up our house, and that's just the way shit quick crumble, man. So hopefully that shit gets all figured out soon.
Hell, I can even remember my time working with AMP or any other IRL content creators and trying to carefully craft the perfect email or phone conversation in order to let them know that, hey, we're gonna respect your place and space. No, we're not like some of these other people.
You feel me? And like pulling up and shit. Like me, like that's what I'm saying. Like it's like there's certain ways to go about it in appropriate ways, in respectable ways. It's just I don't know. And that's what I'm trying to build. So if you're not with that shit, unsubscribe, bro. Unsubscribe from my channel. I don't give a fuck. Unsubscribe from my channel.
People that are destroying
unsubscribe from
property.
these niggas. They don't want that shit either. So unsubscribe from them niggas and unsubscribe from me and just go fucking watch some TikTok shit. Like nobody wants that shit.
And that we're gonna come in and we're gonna try to boost and amplify your business or whatever the case may be. I'm not gonna lie, especially back then, 99% of the time, I could not get it off. Now I think it must be much easier now because of the star that they've grown into. But it was so hard because streaming just had such a bad rap back then and it still has a bad rap today. Now with that being said, Jordan and any other...
And I wanna change that. I feel like you can outshine certain shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Content creator that's going to streaming.
I don't, nah, fuck, bro. Niggas talking about, I keep saying I'm not gonna keep talking about like the shit I want to be on. I'm gonna keep talking about it while niggas is not watching me, cause nigga, what the fuck is the point? Not
route. You have a responsibility on your own when it comes to being just forthcoming. Yeah, I know you're gonna get a lot of no's, but once you get that yes, the burden will just be lifted off your shoulders. And as streaming becomes more and more popular, I think the number of yeses will be more and more available. But the problem is when people don't become forthcoming with who they are dealing with when it comes to making these sorts of transactions. Try to ensure that the person that you're renting from, borrowing from, using their establishment, that, hey, I'm gonna do something for you. It's gonna be mutually beneficial because I don't wanna just be looked at as potentially destroying your property. I do have insurance. I have insurance that can cover your different things, different damages and stuff like that that I may cause. Even if you don't plan on doing certain things that may cause damages, if I were to rent an apartment right now and I knew I was just gonna be behind the desk, but I also knew that I was gonna be a streamer, I would let them know up front, hey, I am gonna be streaming. This is some of my content. They're probably not gonna look at it either way, but I also do have insurance that covers up to this much because all they hear is streaming and they have their own mind going somewhere. But this insurance thing will just give you another level of security. I would also advise getting a house. I know that that's harder to do than, I'm saying, but this is also why content houses did exist and why I do think that they will be much, much more accepted going forward.
Thank you. I'm gonna comment after this. Thank you, Omeezy. Like, this is the type of shit I want to be a part of.
I know that they have their ups and downs, their lefts and rights, but ultimately you have freedoms and liberties that a lot of other content creators don't have. I think this is a
he has elf ears though. What the like, nigga? What is that in your jeans, nigga? Is that a thing? Is elves real, bro? Like, what is his ears, bro?
Lesson for Jordan and any other content creators and streamers that, hey, the public still does view you a certain way, but that doesn't mean that you can't do things to probably aid and protect and make that situation just be a little bit more seamless than how it is already. She'll bounce back. She'll land on her feet. Get that content house, Jordan. Go in there with Cleo and Deshae Frost and hell, even Zoe Spencer. They could be some of the first women that break the whole women streamer mold. I could already see her, Brooklyn Frost, Zoe Spencer, and fuck it, throw Senna Britton there, I guess. And Mari.
Wait, oh, wait, they talking. He talking.
Yeah, throw Mari in there.
He talking. Not gonna lie, he talking. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go ahead and end. I feel like this was a good little segment, a good little, y'all enjoy y'all's days. Y'all enjoy anything y'all got going on. Enjoy this time, because what you're living in right now is uncharted territory for humans in general in life. And bro, you're to be respected. Like, you're doing all this shit to, like, whatever, I don't know. But enjoy your life, bro. Enjoy this shit. Progress. I want this shit to be about your progression, but if it's about you, it's about if you want it or not. I can't, I can't force feed this shit. You feel me? So, yeah, y'all. All right. Like, sub, tell me what you want. I'll catch y'all.